driver has done a very good job. They got some really good cab drivers up there that know what's going on.
They know their way on the New York State Thruway. They know their way to Niagara Falls. And
they know that football up there.
I would be. There's a couple other things that they could do, but they are now going to try and win with an outstanding defense, with still Bruce Smith and still Chris Spielman and Hansen, who had such a big year, et cetera, et cetera. Low scoring, like when they first became a very good team in 1988. People forget. It was defense that carried them. Thurman Thomas's rookie year. It was Art Still and Fred Smirlis and a young Cornelius Bennett and a younger Darryl Talley, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Low scoring, 20-17, 17-14 games. Move the ball. So we take a look at, we took a look at Thurman Thomas's numbers before. And there he is. Rushes. I remember when he went in the second round, he was our bubble player. Remember that?
He was asleep.
1988.
Remember he was
waiting
sleeping.
for the pick. We hear Chris Fowler talk about Ray Caruth and some others. Sometimes you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you can get what you need. And for a second-round pick at that time by Bill Polian and company, what a great pick he was. So, given that they have Thomas for this year and Derek Holmes, would you be surprised to see them pick running back?
No, not at all. I think when you look at Antoine Smith, I think you're looking at a big kid who has game-breaking ability, and it's rare that you see a kid who's tall, 6'2½", 223 pounds, who can get down the field and make people miss, and he's explosive. And I think he caught the ball better this year for the University of Houston. I think if you look at his all-around game, he was the reason that Kim Helton's club made it to the Liberty Bowl and had really a turnaround season for the Houston Cougar program. You see the productivity. He missed even a little bit of playing time with some minor injuries, but he played through those bumps and bruises. You watch him here. You see the outside speed, the quickness. Look at the exhilaration and the power for a big man, and then the breakaway speed. That's against USC, a pretty good football team. Here it is against Syracuse, another good football team in their bowl game, showing that game-breaking ability, some shake-and-bake skills for a big 223-pounder. Sure, he's a little overage, but I tell you, he doesn't have a lot of tread on those tires. You know, he had the 1 year former JUCO transfer, so I like the productivity this season. You see the yards per carry average up to 6.1 and the touchdowns, 15 this year. So stay healthy, Antoine Smith, and you can have a great pro career in Buffalo.
Well, he's big on the size of Eddie George. He's 24, 25 years old, which is unusual. You figure, were there problems? No, not at all. He was raised in a trailer by his grandma. He took a couple years off to take care of his younger brother. He's a man that understands some things. He's a man, really.
He really is. He's a man which helps from a maturity standpoint. You know you're getting a finished product. You know you're not going to have to deal with some of the problems you get with the rookies. A couple other factors. Dan Henning takes over as the offensive coordinator up there. Dan was my coach with the Redskins for a while. He likes the big back. He likes to be able to run the football. The other thing is I got to believe that the Buffalo Bills looked at the Jacksonville Jaguar game from last year, saw what Natron Means did, how a big back could control the game for him. They haven't had the big back control the game. It was done by Jim Kelly and the K-gun and Thurman Thomas coming out of the backfield and with the ball in the air. I think what they saw in that playoff, they said, hey, look, we got to go back to running the football. Plus, it plays into a weather situation, Chris. You want to run the football in Buffalo late if you want to keep the games close and control it. I think it would be a very good pick for you.
Well, no, not for me.
I'm just saying, for you.
That cab driver.
You meaning the Buffalo Bills in general, for you.
Well, they have an interesting competition at quarterback. The youngster Todd Collins, and they traded in the offseason for Billy Joe Hobart. It'll be an open competition. I think if they start today, it's Collins, but that's why they have training camp. The pick is coming in, so we will see if that cabbie gets his fare. And after Buffalo, it's Pittsburgh, Philadelphia now, and San Francisco. So the Bills with the 23 pick after a disappointing exit from the playoffs last year at home, their only home playoff loss ever at Rich Stadium, to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
With the 23rd pick in the first round, the Buffalo Bills select Antoine Smith, running back from the University of Houston.
This year, you know, Thurman, of course,
the Pittsburgh Steelers are now on the clock.
Holmes or Smith will sit. But if Thurman Thomas is going to play only 1 year more, and certainly Buffalo, they hope not, but only 1 year more, then he becomes, at least in the Bills' plans, the bread and butter back who can carry 25 times in the wind and the dank of Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. We'll be back with the Steelers.
Nobody's tougher on cars than a police force. As a result, nobody's tougher on motor oil either. The extreme stress and searing heat generated by their hard driving can break down an oil in no time. That's That's why the Kansas City Police use Castrol GTX, the only leading 10W30 that provides maximum protection against both viscosity and thermal breakdown. Because some people have more important things to worry about than motor oil. Castrol GTX. Drive hard.
It now appears that Shaq is suffering from a neck injury.
Of course we're concerned. That's one valuable neck.
Shaq is suffering from taco neck syndrome, TNS. It's caused by his craving for delicious Taco Bell tacos. And he's getting worse with every neck-bending bite.
There's nothing funny about TNS.
It's not natural.
It's a conspiracy, man.
Get some more of those tacos.
6 months is a long time.
I wish I could take you with me.
Yeah, me too. Oh.
Please, for me, all right? For the plane ride. Smile.
You love her? Oui?
Well, it's my sister. She's sick.
Oh.
Very sick.
Polaroid. See what develops.
Okay. Hi, I'm Mel King.
I'm Bobby Haynes. And I'm Richard Johnson.
And we each own a McDonald's.
And we know that people come in all sizes.
That's why you can get my size meals at breakfast. Just buy any drink, any coffee.
Any orange juice, any soft drink.
Any drink, any size, and hash browns.
And get 1 of 4 breakfast sandwiches like sausage biscuit with egg for just 55 cents.
55 salutes the year it all began.
For my size meals, come to my McDonald's.
No, my McDonald's.
No, my McDonald's.
No.
Come to any McDonald's any day.
I'd like to think of the Sports Center talent as one big team, a happy family, but with any team, there's rookies, and you got to haze them.
You got to earn your wings to be at this place.
Fake fan letters. I mean, he's still upset about that. Oh, how about the glue on the keyboard? And then there's the big one, teleprompter. When we return, a very special interview with Seymour Heine. It's tradition.
You don't question tradition?
No, not around here, you don't.
Welcome back. We're into hour number 5 of ESPN's NFL draft coverage, and one of the stories so far has been players from the 3 Florida schools. Florida State, Miami, and Florida have all won national championships in the 90s. And here's a scoop for you. You win titles with good players. The NFL wants good players. The scoreboard, Florida State 4, Miami 3, the University of Florida 2 so far through the first 23 picks.
The Baltimore Ravens select Peter Boulware, defensive end, Florida State. The Seattle Seahawks select Walter Jones, offensive tackle from Florida State. And the New York Giants select Ike Hilliard, wide receiver from Florida. And Tampa Bay selects Warwick Dunn, running back, Florida State. Bengals select Raynard Wilson, linebacker from Florida State. Miami Dolphins select Yatil Green, wide receiver from the University of Miami. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Riddell Anthony, wide receiver from the University of Florida. And the Washington Redskins select Kennard Lang, defensive end, University of Miami.
Houston, with a pick from Kansas City, selects Kenny Holmes, defensive end from Miami.
So 9 of the first 18 picks, half of the first 18 from the guys from the 3 Florida schools who won championships. Most of those guys were born and grew up in the state of Florida as well, Mike.
Chris, it shouldn't surprise anybody because when you look, there's 85% of Miami's football team, Florida State's football team, and Florida's football team are homegrown. They're from the state of Florida. Then another 150 players sign with Division I teams. So everybody goes to recruit the state of Florida because of speed, speed, speed. And when you look at these wide receivers being picked today, Ike Hilliard and Riddell Anthony, remember one thing. Now, I don't argue much with Mel because Mel works hard at it, but I do take an argument with him on Danny Werfel. There's somebody throwing that football. That's a pretty good quarterback that somebody's going to pick up today, and he's going to be a good player in the NFL.
You think Danny Werfel will go today in the first 3 rounds?
Well,
that would be a surprise to most people.
I'll tell you this, Chris. If he doesn't, I think this guy is productive. He's a winner. I don't care how he throws the ball. It gets there, and he's successful.
Productive beyond belief. He ends his career as the most efficient quarterback in college football history. You know about all the records. You know about all the awards. He won every quarterback award, about every scholar athlete award you can win. Charlie Ward, another Heisman Trophy winner, back in '93, of course, was not drafted as a quarterback out of Florida State, but of course he declared his interest in playing in the NBA, and that scared off many teams. Danny Werfel, basketball is certainly not a factor for him. We wish him well, although it would be a surprise to just about everybody if he went today.